Right, so we are going live. Don't say fuck or bugger.
Well, he's a bit more eloquent than I am.
A little bit.
I would just say I don't like them and they need to be politely removed from society. I would go for the Augusto Pinochet route of diplomacy.
Che Guevara.
We are live, by the way.
Yes. Welcome. God's banker. What's he all about? And what's he got to do with Latin American countries?
Well, I was going to say, we've got a retraction before we can do that, Hobbit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were wrong about something we talked about last week, weren't we?
And what's he got to do with Latin American countries?
Oh, yes, I know what you're on about.
Snopes have been through it. And we were wrong about the tunnels. Those mattresses and high chairs we saw, we didn't in fact see them, did we?
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't believe your own lying eyes, I'm guessing.
Yeah. They were just AI generated.
Why is Rumble
Why is Rumble what?
Rumble had signed me out. It's like, why are you doing that? I literally was using the website yesterday. Why do websites do that? It's like, I tell you what, when I want to be signed out, I'll sign out. You don't need to sign me out. It's fine. We don't need to do any of that stuff.
Right, so
Part 2 Boogaloo.
So yeah, there was this guy called I can't even remember what God's bank was called.
Hobbit, you learnt about a wonder material today, didn't you? That you'd never heard of before.
So there's this thing which is called I can't believe it's not plaster, and you smear it on ceilings and it contains asbestos. And it's got a name, but the name's a genericized trademark. It's called I can't believe it's not plaster. I also learnt that God's banker, who's got a name, he's got nothing to do with Octopus Day. So we won't be talking about Octopus Day, the weird sort of Catholic cult, which not Harriet Harman. There was another UK politician which had to disclose her ties to it.
Oh, was it Tony Blair?
No, not Tony Blair.
Oh no.
She had a name, but Snopes told me I don't actually know the name and I misremembered these things.
We literally spoke about it the other day and I can't remember. Ruth Kelly.
Ruth Kelly.
Oh, really? She had links to Opus Dei. Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's not as controversial. It's not as controversial as
who doesn't these days?
The Prime Minister of South Korea being a part of
not Starlight and the Boys.
Oh no, man, that's tragic. That is tragic.
The Dark Crystal facelift, as it's
the Dark Crystal. I understood that reference.
Literally just said, "Hey, those girls look pretty sexy once they've been rejuvenated by the Dark Crystal."
Happened to Jim Henson? He didn't really die. He just retired and became a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, and then he's just like, "No, they poisoned him." His daughter came out in an interview saying that they didn't like the Dark Crystal, and then she went,
"Really? Is this true?"
Yeah, they poisoned my dad. They didn't like the Dark Crystal. Hollywood.
Who would do?
And then
no,
Hollywood.
That just makes him even more of a legend in my.
Are you talking about communists in Hollywood? You know the sort of
communists.
People that...
The Chicoms.
Yes.
Chicoms. Yeah, that's right. And so his daughter made a series of Dark Star. And Netflix commissioned it, and they thought, they were going to do the thing which most millennial women do, which is shit on the legacy of greater men that come before them. But she didn't shit on the legacy of our father. She carried it on, and it tells far more of the story of how the Skeksis are evil, tunneling creatures that implied mattresses in their dark fortresses. Sorry. I mean, high chairs. No, they're not high chairs. They're chairs for gelflings.
Did they tunnel under New York? Is that what's happening? The Dark Crystal is set under New York.
I'm not saying the Skeksis are based on any Hasidic or basic solutions.
Dom's declared it
But
Wu-Tang
you-
Wednesday today. How was everyone's Wu-Tang Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday yesterday. This is Thursday.
Load of wet ass pussies have been spotted in Hollywood. Underage.
Attractive.
Underage. Yeah, well, I believe that the correct term for it is MAPS, which means minor attracted paedophile,
Yeah.
as opposed to non-minor.
Slightly older attractive paedophile.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of redundant acronyms like ATM machine or PAT testing.
ATM machine. Pat testing.
Yeah, you got MAP paedophiles. LGBTM. No, you got that's the old bigoted acronym. It's now
What does the M
LGBT
stand for?
Q plus. The plus stands for paedophile, but the M also stands for minor attracted paedophile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Canada, in which case there's loads of
Do we want to
letters
talk
in the
about a
name.
man called Michelle? It's a bit like a boy named Sue, but more.
What you mean that man earlier who looks like a Klingon?
No, this is a different Michelle.
That's got to be an unexplained mystery.
I'll
Can we
have
do
you
that?
know,
in
Hobbit,
live?
his name isn't Michelle, it's Michele. Michele?
Yeah. So anyway, Italian Michelle, who is not a Klingon, he had something to do with God's banker, who's got a name, but it's one of those Italian names, and I'm terrible at remembering like
Something Salvatore, right?
you're all
Ravi,
Giuseppe
innit?
or Tony.
Ravi.
Ravioli, Giuseppe, Tony, pizza. It's one of those names.
Yeah.
Vesper,
Rigatelli,
Clea,
that's it.
Cinquecento,
Yeah,
Tutti
they're
Frutti.
Italy's just named after pasta now, you know.
Yeah, literally is.
It's Roberto Is it Roberto Ravioli or something?
Yeah. I think I had that for my lunch. No, it was cannelloni.
So Michele Sindona.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds a bit biblical, doesn't it? Like Madonna, the Sindona, the Sindona.
I thought Fraser was going to do all the reading tonight.
Yeah. I thought I was going to do it, but if you want to read him, that's fine by me.
I'll do the reading for a bit.
Yeah.
He was born the 8th of May 1920 to the 22nd of March 1986. Was an Italian banker.
Wanker.
Because apparently, according to a bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits from the public. Wikipedia thought I needed to know this. Just in case you don't know what a banker is.
Yeah.
And convicted felon. I don't know if he was a convicted felon because he was. He was convicted.
No, he was
because
because he was in prison. Yeah, he was in prison.
He was convicted
tried to kill himself, didn't he?
Yeah, dodgy geezer. Known in banking circles as the Shark. So, dear Mr. Shark, I'd love to. Can I invest some money with you, Mr. Shark? Because you sound trustworthy. If you've got a banker whose nickname's the Shark, you're going to trust him, aren't you?
Yeah. You're going to take a loan from Mr. Shark. That's what we said last week. Just retreading old jokes.
Sindona was a member of Propaganda Due, or Propaganda Jew, as it looks like it says. A secret Masonic lodge of the Grand Orient of Italy. Well, it wasn't because they got kicked out. We went over this last week because they were naughty boys. Yep. And had clear connections to the Sicilian mafia. He was fatally poisoned in prison while serving a life sentence for the murder of Giorgio Ambrose.
Cat's asking, does Mr. Shark sleep?
They need some more money to figure that one out. Did you both get to the point where he was poisoned in prison, where they think he actually did it himself, otherwise his family were going to be bang in trouble?
What there's a thing about him poisoning himself in prison and then like walking to a London bridge, but yeah.
No, you're getting the two confused. You're getting the dead man confused with another man who
the
killed
mob
himself.
boss. Oh, okay, right, okay. No, I didn't get to that part.
He was born in Patti, which is a small commune, which is a municipality. So why don't you just say municipality then and leave commune for the Italian thing? So a commune is an administrative division of Italy, roughly equivalent to a township or municipality. So Wikipedia, there was no need for you to call it a commune and then municipality in brackets.
Yeah.
In the province of Messina, Sicily, to a Neapolitan father. What? His dad was three stripes of ice cream. Big fan of Neapolitan ice cream, are we, lads?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What do you mean by Neapolitan? And I'm not doing a Johnny.
Neapolitan ice cream is it's all in one. It's all in one tub.
Bored?
And there's a stripe of chocolate. There's a stripe of vanilla. And a stripe of strawberry.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that one.
What?
How can you not like that?
That's the best bit. You just mix it all in a bowl until it goes into like a goop.
And then leave the vanilla and strawberry for someone else to eat.
Yeah,
you mix it all together and it makes this really.
They're crap and they don't taste like anything. I mean, the actual Neapolitan ice cream you can get in Italy and Sicily and places like that, where it's like pistachio, cherry, and vanilla.
That's all wrong. None of that is chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. That is
Well, funny enough, the reason they go pistachio and cherry and vanilla is to represent the tricolour of the Italian flag. And I'll have you know,
what do you think chocolate, vanilla, and ice cream is then?
Yeah.
And strawberry.
Well, chocolate, being that it's brown, is not green. The Italian flag, to my knowledge, is green, white, and red. It's not brown, white, pink.
It's brown, white, and pink.
Well, I'm not going to call that Neapolitan ice cream. Okay, that's your chocolate, strawberry, vanilla ice cream. And I like strawberry ice cream, by the way. I'm not shitting on strawberries.
Yeah, don't shit on strawberries. That's
it was Napoleon's favorite. It was Napoleon's favorite ice cream. Did you know?
Yeah.
What, the Neapolitan or chocolate, strawberry, vanilla?
Proper British Neapolitan.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You missed that bit off. His little speech about Britain is a nation of shopkeepers. It was Britain is a nation of shopkeepers who sell the best Neapolitan ice cream.
So, is it Napoleon who said, like, Britain is a nation of shopkeepers?
I think it was.
Yeah, it's him quoted as saying that, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know the full
But when he said
context.
shopkeepers, he meant ice cream sellers. That's what he actually meant.
Proper Neapolitan. He went on to say that the only proper Neapolitan.
So we named an ice cream after him after he lost,
Yeah.
To represent, his cowardice in the vanilla, his shitting himself in the brown chocolate, and the strawberries are the blood of Napoleon. There we go. Because he lost, he died.
Yeah.
Do you want to be well actually? There's no reason to doubt that Napoleon ever used it. Oh, there is reason to doubt Napoleon ever used it. No contemporaneous French newspaper mentions he did. The phrase was first used in an offensive way by the French revolutionary Bertrand Barrère de Vulzac on the 11th of June, 1970. Yeah. Well, actually, Vulzac. He used the sax.
What about
Balzac? On the 11th of June, 1794, in a speech to the National Convention, let Pitt then boast of his victory to his nation of shopkeepers. William Pitt?
Yeah, look how that turned out there.
Yeah, he was the prime minister at the time.
That seems a bit hypocritical because it's not as if the French didn't have their own little shopkeepers and bakeries and things like that.
What do you do if you don't have fucking shops?
After the war, English newspapers sometimes tried to...
Aren't we great in France? We don't have any shops.
Well, don't forget that they had serfdom still, while we had
to be fair,
capitalism.
To be fair, though, this was said during the French Terror, which was, long story short, the Jacobite revolutions led to the rebellion of the 13 colonies, and because France bankrupted itself funding the 13 colonies rebellion, it caused the terror in France, which was a predecessor to communism.
So all the shops got shut.
All the shops got burnt and looted. So, in other words, it was the French just being jealous.
Hold on. Dom says the troops in Ukraine get neo-Nazi ice cream for rations.
Yeah. But that's the thing, you see. You just with the French were just jealous of the fact, like, oh, look at England with its functioning civilization and people owning shops.
England with those fucking English in their shuffles card functioning economy.
It's far better over here where we're eating rats and babies.
I miss the old shuffles. I used to like the old shuffles card meme. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think Russian ice cream is? The Gonzo Lira.
That'd be like fish ice cream, concrete ice cream, and burnt tire flavored ice cream, wouldn't it?
Well, it's got to represent the three colours of child trafficking and prostitution and hard kill you in mumps drugs.
Yeah.
Ones which are made from glass and disused anthrax vials and discarded Russian radiological weapons. The sort they used to poison their spies, and Ukrainians just go, yeah, I'm just going to get some of these old light bulbs and smoke them inside it, and just that will give me like a couple of seconds of peace from my existence.
So back to Sindona, because I think we sidetracked a little bit there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
just a butty purr.
This is all pertinent, by the way.
Yes.
This is all pertinent to talking about what God's banker was up to, because this stuff got bankrolled by him.
Basically, this guy taught Ravioli how to become a shifty banker. So he was like Sindona's Padawan.
Was it possible to learn such power?
Yeah. You were meant to destroy them.
Not from a Jedi.
I've become one of them. Yeah.
So his father was a florist who specialised in funeral wreaths, and his mother was Sicilian. That's all we know about his mother, that she was Sicilian. Sindona was educated by the Jesuits.
So in other words, he's a criminal.
Sindona was educated by the Jesuits. Go on then, Hobbit. I'm sure you've got a rant about this one.
Right, okay, so two things, right. Sicilian is basically a euphemism for criminal, and Jesuits are, LOL, wouldn't it be funny if the Synagogue of Satan infiltrated the Catholic Church, which is the bastion against the devil worshippers? Thank you very much, Protestants. Fuck you very much, more like. And, Jesuits are as Catholic as, what's something that's not very Catholic? They're as Catholic as the rape tunnel enthusiasts. There we go.
And showed very early in his life an unusual aptitude for mathematics and economics. He then graduated with a law degree from the University of Messina in 1942. He then moved from Sicily to northern Italy, where he worked as a tax lawyer and accountant for companies such as Societe Generale Immobiliare. That's a massive company, apparently. I don't know. Snia Viscosa. SNIA Viscosa, but immediately turned away from the law and began working in smuggling operations with the mafia. So what they're saying is, what they were saying was that Sindona, he worked as a tax lawyer, so he could then figure out how to dodge the tax.
As you do.
Yeah, so he was supposed to join the tax collectors, but he turned away from them. but immediately turned away from the law and began working in smuggling operations with the mafia. He soon moved to Milan, and his skill and dexterity in transferring money to avoid taxation soon became known to mafia bosses. By 1957, he'd become closely associated with the Gambino family and was chosen to manage their profits from heroin sales.
That's nice. Sounds like a good guy.
He's an all-around good guy. So, within a year of being chosen by the Gambino family to manage their heroin profits, Sindona was bought his first bank. It's like Daddy, buy me a pony. Daddy, buy me a bank. He also became a friend of future Pope Giovanni Battista Montini. Montini was, at the time, Archbishop...
Where does one get the money to buy a bank?
The mafia.
Oh, yeah. And then I assume it's like we'll give you the money to buy a bank with stipulations, because now say what you like about the mafia. As far as I know, they're not really known for philanthropy.
Well, they are, as long they do a bit, don't they?
Sort of.
Yeah.
When it serves them.
Yeah. Like they'll go and help the little kiddies at the hospital because it's a bit of good. It's a bit of good press, isn't it?
Especially when they've just killed the father of the kiddies.
So Montini was at the time Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Milan and Cardinal. By the time Montini became Pope Paul VI, you got any opinions on Pope Paul VI, Hobbit?
Yeah, he's Polish and really didn't like communists for some reason.
That's John Paul II.
Oh, who's this guy then?
Pope Paul VI. I don't know. Do you want to look it up and tell us what you think?
He's the previous Pope, the one before the Polish Pope.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about him then.
Okay.
Isn't he got something to do with Vatican II? Let me just have a look at
look him up. Hobbit.
Vatican.
That'll be around the same time, right?
Pope Paul VI is what you want to look for.
Second Vatican Council. When was it done? 1962 to 65. And it was convoked by Pope John the 23rd.
Is that the one before Pope Paul VI?
Yeah. He was...
By the time Montini became Pope Paul VI, Sindona had acquired, through his holding company Fasco, many more Italian banks, and his progress continued right up to the beginning of his association with the Vatican Bank in 1969. Huge amounts of money moved from Sindona's banks through the Vatican to Swiss banks, and he began speculating against major currencies on a large scale. Who else do we know that speculates against major currencies?
Well, George Soros was famous for tanking the British pound in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And he's still disliked to this day by a bunch of British for that.
So in 1972, Sindona purchased the controlling interest in Long Island's Franklin National Bank from Lawrence Tisch. Tisch? T-I-S-C-H? Tisch, I think that is.
That sounds like a tissue, yeah.
Yeah, he's an American businessman, investor, and billionaire. He was CEO of CBS television network from 86 to 95 with his brother Bob Tisch.
A tissue.
Badum-tish. Badum-tish. Is that another one of these brothers? Badum-tish. He was part owner of the Lowe's Corporation, whatever that is. He was hailed as the saviour of the lira and was named Man of the Year in January 1974 by the US ambassador to Italy, John Volpe.
Volpe, is that? Oh.
He's a son of Italian immigrants. That's where Volpe comes from with him. But that April, a sudden stock market crash led to what is known as Il Crack Sindona, the Sindona bankruptcy. The Franklin Bank's profit fell by as much as 98% compared to the previous year, and Sindona suffered $40 million loss. Can you talk for a sec, Hobbit? I've just got to go and beat my dog.
Yeah. So let's have a look. By the way, if anyone's in the chat, I've met Hemi's dog before numerous times, and he's a dickhead. So he deserves, like, Oh, is that a Fiat 126? I saw one. No, not today. Yesterday, actually. Chat will really appreciate this. It's a Fiat 126, and it's parked in the car park, and it fits perfectly within the lines. And next to it is one of these modern monstrosities, which is made by the car company, because there's no point with the different badges on them. They're all the same. It's like some SUV. Maybe what's his name will put it on the thing afterwards. But where's the bit we're up to?
It's all right. I'm back now.
I was talking to chat about the Fiat 126, and now you might put it on chat because that's Italian, so that's related to God's banker.
Yeah. It's saving as a ping. I don't know if it will work.
Oh, you have to convert it then.
Let's have a look. Oh no, it works. Because pings can sometimes be a pain in the ass, can't they? So where was I? Sindona suffered a $40 million loss. Consequently, he began losing most of the banks he'd acquired over the previous 17 years. On the 8th of October 1974, the bank was declared insolvent due to mismanagement and fraud involving losses in foreign currency speculation and poor loan policies. Part of the losses involved Sindona's transfer of $30 million of bank funds to Europe to recover his losses.
Oopsie.
Yeah, you know a bit about the money laundering stuff, don't you, Hobbit? The bank fraud that he was engaged in.
Well, the fun thing with that was, now it's complicated, and that's like any sort of fraud will be complicated. So I'll try and summarize it as succinctly as I can. Money was taken out of the Bank of Ambrosiano, and then it was... Sorry, not that. It was taken out of the Vatican Bank. The only shareholder of the Vatican Bank is the Pope, so it doesn't have any oversight committee. And it would then go into the Bank of Ambrosiano, it would do some dirty deals, get washed, and then go back into the Vatican Bank. And that way, the Pope wasn't losing any money. And what's God's banker's name again? But he made some money on the side, and Sindona, I think.
Roberto Calvi, isn't it? That's his name, I think.
Roberto Calvi benefited from the arrangement along with some other mafioso types.
There's also some more complicated stuff going on, isn't there? Basically, they're forever shifting money around. It's like a Ponzi scheme. So they're this will come when we actually finally get around to talking about Roberto Calvi. What was happening was, because he was he got arrested, he wasn't actually in the bank to be there at the time to be constantly shifting all of this money around. So basically they'd be constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul the whole time. And they'd be shifting this money around, and it was kind of like a full-time job, keeping track of this money and moving it around. And this is what Roberto Calvi learnt from Sindona.
So what's the difference between that and, say, just like normal banking? Because that's sort of a case of robbing someone to pay someone else.
Yeah, but it's different because the money's actually there in a proper bank. Like, it's there somewhere, whereas the money isn't there in this scheme. Like, the money's always down. So you've got a 40. So say you've got I can see the figure in front of me, 40 million. So say there's a $40 million lot hole in the finances. What you do is you keep moving the money around the pots, so they always constantly look like they're full, because the money's going in and out and in and out and in and out all the time.
And you shake it all about.
Yeah.
A likely story.
And the other thing as well is tax laws changed in Italy at some point. I'll see if I can find out about it. But tax laws changed in Italy at some point. So what happened was that then the church liquefied a load of assets and then got them like out and moving, and again in out, shaking them all about. There's a lot of banking in Switzerland, and obviously what we know about Swiss banking is that they don't tell anybody anything, do they? Not even governments.
Oh, why would you want to do that? Basically, when the Swiss are asked about it, it's like, forget about it.
Forget it. Hey, why do you have to be like that? I thought you'd come in here being all friendly, and then you have to start hassling me about Nazi gold.
Here's a Rolex. Is this Rolex? Can I interest you in a Rolex?
Oh dear, I appear to have dropped these untraceable Krugerrands all over the floor. It would be a shame if you were to pick them up.
I'm sure you can have some if you help me pick them up. Oh, did you
see
the Get Rolex gang got caught the other day?
Oh, did they?
Get Rolex gang?
Well, that's my joke name for them. Basically, their thing was they saw people with Rolexes, so they just robbed them.
AO gives me that for free.
Yeah, so people were onto the police got onto it. So their final foray into the world of crime was them stealing a Rolex off of an undercover copper, and then loads of coppers come out of the woodwork and arrest them all.
Oh, what a pity. Never mind.
So, according to the Mafia Pentito, repentant, Francesco Mariano Manoia. Fucking hell, these names. Don't have to have so many names that are so hard to pronounce.
Not to be confused with Maradona.
Yeah. Sindona has laundered the proceeds of heroin trafficking from the Oh, what the fuck? The Bonta Day Spazzola Inzerillo Gambino network.
Look, these names aren't real, okay? This is why Italy's not a serious country.
The mafiosi were determined to get the money back and would play an important role in Sindona's attempt to save his banks. So this is about the mafia are not necessarily they're sometimes philanthropic, aren't they?
Well, the mafia.
Yeah, of course they are.
I don't know. Citation needed on that one.
Well, they were when it came to Sindona. They bailed him out. They said, "Here, Sindona, you're a good lad. You've worked for us for quite some time, and we don't want to see your bank go under."
Oh, okay, yeah. The philanthropy with there's always an ulterior motive with the mafia's philanthropy. Is what I'm trying to say. There feels like there's some significant strings attached to this deal, this offer I can't refuse for some reason.
What's he on about? Dom says by beat he means spank, and by the dog he means monkey. Oh, it means me when I said I had to go and beat the dog.
Well, that was a quick hand, Shandy.
Yeah. Didn't the Gambino family go on to infiltrate BBC Radio? I don't know about this one, Dom.
And what about Childish Gambino?
Swiss bank has been robbed 7 times, apparently. The Swiss bank. Is there only one? There's like the Swiss bank.
I assume it's like it's just a national interest, like we do banking at a well.
On the 11th of July 1979, Giorgio Ambrosoli, the lawyer who was commissioned as liquidator of Sindona's banks, was murdered in Milan by 3 mafia hitmen commissioned by Sindona. Sindona feared that there's a load of Sindona stuff missing. Like there's the time he kidnapped himself.
Well, the other thing which is worth mentioning with this stuff is they'd have gone away with it too if it wasn't for the mafia being incredibly greedy and deciding to murder anybody that got in the way of their drug cartel. Because, and I'm not saying that they did this, but I think they were getting high off their own supply, and they were becoming just a wee bit paranoid, saying like, "Hey, you said my mum was living in Barcelona, and she's not. You tried to dox where my mum is." And then, like, they commissioned a hit, like, killing you, torturing your entire family, and then, like, putting a rocket up your dog's bum and blowing it up. And it's just like, you know what? This is why no one likes you anymore, Mafia. I don't know why I'm so like dead set. I've never had any bad dealings with the mafia before.
I think it's I think the only bad dealings are dealings with the mafia, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
well, the reason why that is, Hobbit, is because you're not dead yet. That's why you're not had any bad dealings with the mafia.
Yeah, that's it.
The only good dealings with the mafia are no dealings with the mafia.
My kneecaps are relatively intact, so there is that.
Yeah. So Sindona feared that Ambrosoli would expose his manipulations in the Banca Privata Italiana case. So what happens?
I thought you were going to say he was worried that he was going to expose himself.
So what happens in the mind of Sindona is that if you shoot the first liquidator, they won't send any more. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you kill one of them, then you get away with it. Yeah.
Yeah. It just reminds me of another people's thinking.
You get away with it. You get away with this one.
Is this just a hot climate, like people's thinking? Is this? Can we attribute it to the weather here?
Yeah,
it's very similar thinking.
Once upon a time, the Romans were a proud people, but then they got greedy and hubristic, invited a bunch of immigrants in. And then the Roman Empire ceased to be, and the Moors, who were had a bunch of slaves from Sub-Sahara, came over. They interbred with the Sicilians, and now Sicilians are known throughout Italy for chimping out at the slightest reason.
That means your mum's part eggplant. Have you ever seen True Romance, Hobbit?
No.
Oh, there's a great speech about it. Christian Slater nicks some money. Takes what he thinks are his girlfriend's clothes, but it turns out to be a suitcase full of drugs. So a mafia hitman's following him, and he finds Christian Slater's dad, who's Dennis Hopper, and it's Christopher Walken, and he's a Sicilian. So he says so then he explains this about the Moors, and then he says so your great grandmother got fucked by a Moor. I'm pretty sure the language the language was a bit less.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that scene. Yeah.
So he goes,
Moors wasn't the exact terminology, but
eggplant.
As we're doing this still on YouTube and not just exclusively on Rumble. Yeah. Then we can't say what the actual term was, but
he uses a very unfortunate term.
Well, he uses a very accurate term. So.
Obviously, he's doing this to bait Christopher Walken into killing him. That kind of reminds me
works.
Of that.
I mean, the bait was taken. He gets baited. Yeah.
So shortly before he was killed, the American mafia hitman William Arrico, a convicted bank robber, invoked the name of Giulio Andreotti, the influential Christian Democrat politician, close to Sindona, in a threatening phone call taped by Ambrosoli. Arrico fell to his death while trying to escape from federal prison in New York in 1984. Unfortunately, fell to his death. Oops. Who put that banana peel up on this ledge? Andreotti later replied in an interview.
That's Tarzan's last words. Who greased this vine?
You know what he did? He slipped on some Neapolitan ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Andreotti later replied in an interview that Ambrosoli was a person who, in Romanesque words, was looking for it.
I'm not saying he had it coming, but he had it coming. See? Capiche?
Yeah. In 1980, Sindona was convicted in the United States of 65 charges, including fraud, perjury, false bank statements, and embezzlement of bank funds. His defense was provided by one of the leading American lawyers, Ivan Fisher. The federal court in Manhattan, in addition to the 25-year prison sentence for the failure of Franklin National Bank, fined Sindona $207,000. Who says crime doesn't pay? While in United States federal prison, the Italian government applied for extradition.
When you're getting fines like that, it's basically just like, look, it's tax, but you go through the courts instead of the tax office.
It's a joke, isn't it? It's a joke considering how rich this geezer is. The Italian government applied for extradition so that Sindona could be present at the murder trial of Ambrosoli. This time the request was accepted, and on the 25th of September 1984, Sindona returned to Italy, imprisoned in Voghera. So Voghera is a fucking town and commune again. On 16th of March 1985, in the trial for the bankruptcy of Banca Privata Italiana, Sindona was sentenced to 12 years in prison for the crime of fraudulent bankruptcy. The compensation for the damages was established in civil court. Sindona was sentenced to immediately pay a provisional amount of 2 billion lira. That's about a tenner in it, I bet.
Right, yeah.
From what we were doing the other day, because we were working out lira, weren't we? And it's not a lot of money.
No, I think like 1,000 lira is what, 10p or something.
It's a joke currency. It's a gag currency.
That's what happens when the Roman Empire collapses and the Italians, which are left, just go, what if we keep devaluing our currency? So like 1,000 lira, which should be 1,000 pounds of silver, is now worth 10 pence.
So immediately pay a provisional amount of 2 billion lira to the liquidators of the bank and to the small shareholders who had fled a civil action lawsuit. Filed. On the 18th of March 1986, he was sentenced to life imprisonment as an instigator of the Ambrosoli murder. 2 days after his life sentence, Sindona drank a potassium cyanide coffee, likely prepared by himself, in the Voghera prison. He died in the Voghera hospital 2 days after 2 days in a coma on 22nd of March 1986. The thing is, it was probably like kill yourself or we kill your wife and mail bits of her to you, or is probably how it went.
So when they're saying Epstein didn't kill himself, was he given this choice?
I don't know. He didn't really have the room to actually do a triple cell cal off his bunk, though, did he?
You're saying he didn't do a Tony Hawk's 360 kickflip?
Yeah. I don't think he really had the room in there to do that, did he?
We'll never know.
I think we'll try and find out about the. Let's talk about the gorilla next, because he's a really interesting character.
The gorilla in the room.
Yeah, the gorilla. Where is his fucking name? Hold on, I got to find his name on me notes.
A vanilla gorilla.
I've actually made some notes for this one, lads.
Wow, cool.
Archbishop Marcinkus. Very interesting fella.
Is that the Polish Pope?
No. This bloke, I mean, he's called the gorilla, but he should be called the cockroach, because my God, does this bloke go on and on and on despite the fucking bullshit he pulls. So, So we'll just cut straight to his early life. So he's an archbishop of the Catholic Church, president for the Institute for the Works of Religion, commonly known as the Vatican Bank, because it's not actually called, it's called the IOR, isn't it? The Vatican Bank.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called the Institute for the Works of Religion. So that must be a translation. So IOR must be like either Latin or Italian. So do you want to know a bit about the Institute for the Works of Religion first?
Yeah, I do. If I'm going to remember this correctly, after World War II, Franklin Roosevelt said to Italy, right, a lot of people like the Catholics.
I'll put it in general if you want to do this bit.
Don't really like what happened to Italy. So what if the Vatican becomes its autonomous state? And
no. The Vatican City was created by Mussolini.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they carried on with it
in return for the Pope bending the knee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they carried on with that after the war, and then said you should have your own bank so you can maintain independence. And
they set up the bank before the war, didn't they? And fleeced a load of Jewish people out their money during the
That's a terrible conspiracy theory and unsubstantiated. And
The
how very
institute was
dare.
founded in June 1942 by papal decree of Pope Pius the 7th. No, 12th. Pope Pius the 12th. That's an X.
Right.
Oh, they got their own website as well. Since July 1913. I thought you were going to do this bit of it.
Wait. When was it set up? When was the bank thing set up? Did
When
you
was
say
the
July?
Vatican City created?
Yeah.
Vatican City.
Wait, you said July 1913. It was the bank was set up.
Oh, no, 42.
Oh yeah.
The name Vatican City was first used in the Lateran Treaty, signed on the 11th of February 1929, which established the modern city-state named after Vatican Hill, the geographic location of the state within the city of Rome. Vatican is derived from the name of an Etruscan settlement, Vatica or Vaticum, located in the general area the Romans called Ager Vaticanus, Vatican territory. The Italian name of the city...
because I thought Vatican meant Council of Sorcerers. No, where did I hear about that? Oh, don't mind me, guys. I'm operating like. Imagine you got a 4-cylinder engine and you got like a misfire in one or two of them.
So the IOR. So.
Was that set up?
24. So it was set up, founded in June 1942 by papal decree, like I said. June 2012, the IOR gave a first presentation of its operations. So 70 years later, it gives its first presentation of its operations.
Well, that's the nice thing about not being beholden to.
Yeah.
They can go fuck off, can't they? When they not beholden.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Allies invade and take over Mussolini's
Let me just have a
territory,
look. Is
can't
the
be like audited then, can they?
Vatican Bank affiliated with the Rothschild Central Bank? It'll probably say the IMF or something like that. According to some sources, the Rothschilds are bankers of the Vatican and control the Vatican, making it their primary bastion of banking power. The Rothschilds are interwoven with the Catholic Church and interlocked with the Vatican Bank, which was pro-Nazi, according to some ultra-right-wing sources.
Oh.
James Major Rothschild, head of the Rothschild Bank family in France, became official papal banker. There are a bunch of Rothschild loans to the Holy See. But
because they lost a lot
know.
on was it Black Friday or Black Monday? One of them, weren't they?
What's Black Monday?
There's 2008, and then there was one in the late 90s, wasn't there? Was that Black Friday, and then there was Black Monday as well?
Well, if it's the 2008 thing, that was a 1013 thing. If you listen to Freeman, he talks about how all these disasters happen on 1013 because that's like when they destroyed the Knights Templar, and so the Freemasons love celebrating that by causing disasters. So Ben Bernanke said something on 1013 2008, and the day later, that's when you got the subprime mortgage crash.
Subprime was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think 1013 was when something war. Oh, I don't know.
It's probably something happened on that day.
So I didn't tell you what the IOR stood for, did I? So the Institute for the Works of Religion, or the Institute, it's the Institutum Pro Operibus Religionis.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I do struggle with those Greek names.
It's all Greek to me.
Yeah. The purpose of the IOR is to provide... I've gone the wrong way. The Institutio per l'Opera de Religione, the IOR, was founded on 27th of June 1942 by Pope Pius XII. It absorbed the Administrazione per opere de religione, the administration of the works of religion. I'm not reading. Just reading the English from now on. Which had originated in the Commission for the Works of Charity. The IOR is not a department of the Roman Curia, the central administrative structure of the Roman Catholic Church, nor is it a central bank. So I assume that they keep the money at arm's length from the actual church, do they?
I mean, it sounds like it.
Is it some like? It seems like it's kind of like, oh Jesus, we're not really collecting money. They are, not us.
Yeah.
When he comes back to give him a whipping and kick the fucking tables over.
Mm.
The purpose of the
okay, interesting.
I don't know. That's just a theory of mine, maybe. Because it's funny that it's not a department of the central administrative part of it.
Oh, we're not saying a game of theory.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The purpose of the IOR is to provide for the safekeeping and administration of movable and immovable property transferred or entrusted to it by physical or juridical persons. That's the word they use. And is intended for works of religion or charity or fiddling. Religion, charity or fraud. I think they forgot the fraud part off there. In 2014, the Vatican officially confirms the IOR's mission as provider of specialised financial services to the Catholic Church worldwide.
You went blank for about half a minute.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry. Where did I stop?
Fraser, where did Hemi stop?
I can't remember.
It went out. It went out anyway. So
yeah, it did. Yeah.
As long as they heard it.
Yeah.
So Discord. Other
voice over IP services are available.
Furthermore, it was affirmed that by the Vatican that the valuable services that can be offered by the Institute assist the Holy Father in his mission as universal pastor, and also aid those institutions and individuals who collaborate with him in his ministry. It's also. Is it me or is the Vatican very Scientologisty?
Know what you mean there.
It's just
what do you mean, Hemi?
It's just a bit odd. The language they use and things like that and their organisations.
They do a lot of odd things.
There's a lot of steeped in Kabbalah and Hermeticism, maybe.
So historical allegations. So what is the Holy See then?
That is the seat of the Vatican. That's like the ruling.
Yeah.
What
he said.
So when the Holy See, whose tax-exempt status on income from Italian investments was revoked in 1968, so this is what I was saying about earlier, when there was a big change, decided to diversify its holdings, it employed as financial advisor Michele Sindona, who's a top lad, straight as an arrow. Once among the country's most powerful businessmen, subsequent investigations into his business affairs brought to light questionable associations with the mafia, as well as the secret the P2, the Propaganda Due, as we spoke about last week, a bogus Masonic lodge that the Italian... Oh, hold on a minute. They were bogus? Bogus?
Oh, that's convenient.
Needed.
No.
Yeah, the jury's out on that one, I think.
They're not bogus. They're very naughty boys. Masonic Lodge.
He's not the Messiah. He's a naughty boy.
He's Michele Sindona's not the shark. He's a very naughty boy. That the Italian Parliament branded as a subversive organisation.
No.
In 1970.
Never.
The 1974 failure of Sindona's
subversion in Italy
and the subsequent collapse of his financial empire, into which he had channeled part of the Holy See's investments, entailed losses for the Vatican estimated by one source at 35 billion Italian lira. That's 20 million. 35 billion Italian lira, Hobbit.
Yeah.
Wait, 35 million billion?
No, 35 billion Italian lira is 20 million quid.
Yeah.
What?
That's how much a bribe is worth.
That's like Tokyo.
In Italy.
Like, holy shit. That's worse than
Well,
Tokyo.
no, at least with one Jappy, you can say 100 yen there is about $1.
Yeah.
What does that make it? What does that make quid to lira then? Fucking hell.
Oof.
It's pretty bad.
So if I go in with, say, a cool, I don't know, like 100 mil, I'd literally bankrupt Italy. Is that because there's not enough? No.
You could bribe 5 prominent Italian politicians with 100 mil.
Yeah.
Like if I ask for like 100 mil in like from.
I mean, it's no wonder pasta is like one of their favourite meals because like pasta's cheap.
Mm.
It's like, what am I having for dinner? Oh, a boiled spaghetti for 28p again.
Boiled spaghetti.
Yeah.
Well,
you can have any olive oil with that? Oh, what? Do I look like Mr. Fancy Rich Bags over here? No. I'm having it with some salt and that's it.
Yeah. If you're lucky, you get some like grated hard cheese on.
Oh, la-di-da, Mr. Fancy Bags with his grana padano. No, you'll have boiled pasta and you'll fucking love it.
Oh.
Pasta and peas and olive oil.
Yeah.
Several. So they do go into a bit about the Roberto Calvi, but obviously we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Several works published during the 1980s and 90s were highly critical of the Institute for the Works of Religion's historical relations with anti-communist governments. How fucking dare they be anti-communist?
Oh no, they're Nazis, guys.
Oh no, they're not communist. Fucking
yeah.
Oh dear.
That's just fucking hilarious.
But speaking of that kind of stuff, old what's his name? Milani. What's his name? The Argentine PM. He was giving Davos hell, weren't he? Because it was Davos.
Oh yeah.
It's Davos this week, isn't it?
He's dabbing on Davos.
Yeah. He's been saying, "Why are you doing all this communist shit? Why can't we go back to capitalism?"
Yeah, he's basically saying, look, you guys keep talking about how great communism is, and I, being from a former communist country, I'm telling you it's a load of shit. And you should eat a bag of dicks and some boiled pasta. Eat an entire bag's worth of penis is what you should do, Davos. To quote the prominent economicist King Cobra JFS, fuck you, Donovan. Sorry, fuck you, Davos. I hope your dick falls off.
We ain't got any chats anywhere else. I was just checking on the chats. Right then, so where were we? So, in reference to other alleged covert activities, Tony Absey, writing in the Weekly Worker, an organ of the Communist Party of Great Britain. Oh well, so this guy's going to be completely unbiased.
Wankers of the world unite.
Has said that the CIA used the Institute for the Works of Religion to funnel funds to the Solidarity Polish trade union as part of the final offensive against the Soviet Union. The organisation American Atheists. I love the way they're quoting all of these organisations that have no axe to grind whatsoever.
It's it's the coalition of evil.
It's the axis of evil, the communist atheists.
Says,
no, really.
Says covert.
Who
United,
knew?
Says so the American atheists, the other AA, says covert United States funds were channeled in the same way to both Solidarity and the Contra guerrillas. Alperin versus Vatican Bank was a class action suit by Holocaust survivors against the Institute for the Works of Religion, filed in San Francisco, California, on the 15th of November 1999, because it can't go on for too long, can it?
No.
The case was dismissed as a political question by the District Court for the Northern District, California, 2003, but reinstated in part by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Aren't they just like, they're literally the evil communists, aren't they? At the Ninth Circuit Court, they all have big shoes and clown noses, don't they?
Also, not to be confused with the Ninth Circle of Hell, because that would just be. Don't confuse them with the Ninth Circle.
The Ninth Circle of Clowns. That ruling has attracted attention as a precedent for the intersection of the Alien Tort Claims Act. What the fuck? And the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act. The complaint against the Vatican Bank was dismissed in 2007 on the basis of sovereign immunity. You remember diplomatic immunity from Lethal Weapon 2, don't you?
Yeah.
Sovereign immunity. So I think that'll do. I think that'll do for the Vatican Bank.
Nice guys.
Yeah. Right, let's see.
What a guy!
I would have thought one of these would, because it's quite an important part, the solidarity stuff. Because basically they were getting Roberto Calvi to give all this money to literally give all this money to the solidarity movement. But Calvi. They told Calvi it was a loan, and then when Calvi's in the shit, he's going, yeah, but they owe us all this money. No, they don't, said the Pope.
It's a little bit shit, isn't it? I just feel like, is it just me, or does Calvi feel like he was a stooge?
I think he was one of those guys that I think he kind of stumbled his way into the big time, but he wasn't ready to swim with the sharks that he was swimming with, was he?
Yeah, it just feels a little bit fucky somehow.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
I feel sorry for Calvi after all this stuff.
I do kind of, because I think he was way out of his fucking depth. I think he was one of those guys that works at a bank, and I think he'd be a good solid bank guy, but he shouldn't be allowed to be calling the shots because he's not quite. He thinks he's cleverer than he is. He thinks he's cleverer than he is, doesn't he?
Yeah, and also I get the feeling that he wasn't a very likable man if he kept being expelled from school.
No,
I mean 109 expulsions.
That was the fascist guy, Jelly.
Wait, so you're telling me Banker didn't?
We haven't spoken about Calvi yet. I just wanted to talk about the people around Calvi first.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It gets. No, I'm not saying it's Byzantine because it's Italian, but it's also a bit Byzantine. All this stuff.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because you can't just talk about Calvi and what he did without talking about the rest of them, because it's all part of an ecosystem, isn't it?
It is a real spider's web of stuff, and this is why I keep talking about Latin America and drug running and Panama, not being able to incinerate, fortunately, because that's the thing in Panama, they don't know how to do incineration. That's a technology which only Germans and the CIA have got, apparently.
So I'm just trying to find.
That's a joke. Oh, very funny.
Sorry,
Hobbit.
mate.
Yes,
sorry, I was just like. Go on, then do it again. I bet.
This is why I keep talking about Latin America and places like Panama being unable to incinerate 49 tons of cocaine, because apparently incineration is one of those arcane lost technologies like levitation, which only the Germans of a certain era and the CIA have got access to.
Exactly.
Funny that.
Oh shit! I didn't. Did you know the Vatican Bank? The Vatican Bank worked with the Nazis.
It's funny. A lot of people did work with the Nazis.
So It wasn't as though they did business with the Germans because they wanted the Germans to win. They did business with everyone because they called themselves neutral and decided that somebody would win at the end of the war. And they were going to keep their business connections open to everybody. Then when they saw the war was going against the Germans, they started to hide the connections. And after the war, they said, we didn't do anything wrong. On how the church knew what the Nazis were doing, but frozen by indecision and fear. The bank officials and those who ran the bank knew very little because, in part, all they wanted to know was what was happening in terms of the war effort and what was happening in terms of business and profits. But on the church end, there's no doubt that they had churches, local churches, in all of the countries that were ground zeros for the killing zones. The local priests who were not in favour of the slaughter still reported back to their bishops what's happening on the ground. That came in daily reports, and they had, unfortunately, a very clear sense of what was happening early on. They were just frozen by indecision and fear. They were afraid that if they spoke out, the Nazis might in fact move against the Catholics in Germany and even move against the Pope and take him back to Germany as a prisoner. Because obviously he had an ally in Mussolini, didn't he? So
you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Here we go. One of the reasons the Vatican was frozen in fear against the Nazis had made their alignment with the fascists in the first place was that they feared the Bolsheviks more. When John Paul II came in, the first Polish Pope, the first non-Italian Pope in more than 450 years, and there's still a communist government in Poland, he formed an alliance with Ronald Reagan. The head of the CIA used to be going over regularly to the Vatican to give him briefings. Good old CIA. It can only be good stuff, can't it, if the CIA are involved?
I've never heard of a bad story with the CIA. Like, they are a force for good in this world.
What? They just go around helping people. They're like the littlest hobo. Maybe tomorrow I'll like this government.
Until tomorrow, I'll just do a cover revolution.
I describe a new incident in this book in which Italian intelligence agents, they take 3.5 million in gold ingots from a Swiss bank. They put it into the side panels and a false bottom of an SUV. And a priest drives it back from Gdansk to Italy so it can feed the resistance against the communists in Poland. So there was a real alliance between American intelligence, the right-wingers, and the Vatican on this meeting of minds against communism. I'm pretty sure it's the other way, isn't it? The priest is going to go from Italy to Gdansk so he can fund Solidarity, isn't he?
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah, but it says the other way around in the article.
There's no money coming out of Poland. Let's face it, Poland is known for a number of things. Being a prosperous nation's not one of them. Sorry, Poland, but you suck.
Yeah. The thing about the Vatican Bank that makes it different, in my view, is that it's essentially an offshore bank in the middle of a foreign country. So once that bank was formed, it meant that somebody sitting over in Italy who had a lot of money, all they had to do was find a priest or a cleric inside the Vatican City to take their money in suitcases of cash across the street. Just wait for the red light to turn green, walk it over on a cart, deposit in the Vatican Bank, and it no longer could be taxed. It no longer could be followed by Italian authorities. It couldn't be followed for a drug investigation.
Bang, and the money is clean.
Bang. Hi, I'm Pope Barry Scott.
Look at this filthy drug money.
I just put some Holy See on it, and bang, the money's laundered.
Bang, and the dirt is cleaned.
So what does that result in? It results in the Vatican Bank being one of the top banks in the world for money laundering. A haven often for these business executives involved in scandals in Italy. Just in the last decade, we learned the Vatican Bank had an account for Giulio Andreotti, who was the 7-time Prime Minister of Italy, the most powerful post-war politician in Italian history. He had a secret bank account through which over 50 million passed at a certain time, most of which was doled out for political...
50 million what? Italian pesos?
Oh, sorry, $50 million. Sorry.
So real money.
Yeah, proper money. Passed at a certain time, most of which was doled out for political favours to friends. That was what the Vatican Bank had come to be, and that's what I call its cocaine cowboy days. the equivalent of I Live in Miami, the crazy period. This is a guy called Mike Posner. He was on the documentary, The God's Banker. He's the guy that looks like he's had too much plastic surgery.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he was a bit puffy, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I Live in Miami. The crazy period here was the 1980s when the cocaine cowboys sort of ran the roost. The Vatican Bank has had its cocaine cowboy days. The real question is now whether the new sheriff has arrived in town. Is that Sheriff Francis? Can he really bring him to heel or not? So this is just talking about Pope Francis. We're not really that period. That period we're not interested in. So I can't find. Let's see if solidarity. See if the Pope's mentioned. Pre-1980 roots. So October 16th, 1978, Bishop of Krakow, Karol Wojtyla, was elected Pope John Paul II a year later during his first pilgrimage to Poland. His masses were attended by hundreds of thousands of his countrymen. The Pope called for the respecting of national and religious traditions and advocated for freedom and human rights while denouncing violence. To many Poles,
that's very anti-communistic, which is a very anti-Semitic canard.
Yeah. To many Poles, he represented a spiritual and moral force that could be set against brute material forces. He was a bellwether of change and became an important symbol. They're not really talking about the, but there were huge. Thanks to the CIA's involvement, great people. Thanks to the CIA's involvement, there were.
We love our CIA people.
There were huge amounts of money being funneled into it.
Fantastic sums being transported.
Yeah.
Vast sums.
In cars.
We love our CIA.
Yeah. We love our CIA.
We're the best CIA, beautiful CIA. Best in the world.
Communism. Let's see if that's.
Where would we be without the CIA?
Where would we be? No one can prove conclusively. This is about Pope John Paul II. No one can prove conclusively he was the primary cause of the end of communism. Communism's never ended. It just it's like a cockroach. You can't kill it. However, the major figures on all sides, not just Lech Walesa, the Polish solidarity leader, but also Solidarity's arch opponent General Wojciech Jaruzelski.
Easy for you to say.
Well, not really, because he's got no vowels in it.
What do you want vowels for? Look at you with your decadent Western ways.
Look at you, you English pig dog, looking to put vowels in words.
Yeah. Don't you realise that the Nazis and communists stole vowels from the Polish?
So John Paul. I mean, he was Pope for ages, weren't he, John Paul?
Yeah, he stuck around well.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Poles. Once you get them in a place, it's difficult to get rid of them.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know this. In 1983, Poland's communist government unsuccessfully tried to humiliate John Paul II by falsely saying he had fathered an illegitimate child.
Now, why would the Polish government be against the Polish Pope?
Well, they're a communist.
So much for Polish solidarity.
Mm.
Or so-called Polish solidarity.
I can't find it, but basically, like, the solidarity movement has quite a lot to do with what later happened to Thingamajiggy. So it talks about the Institute for so let's Paul Casimir Marcinkus. I'm just playing Halo. I'm
just playing with the CIA.
I'm just laundering some money. So in 1950, Marcinkus managed to fulfill special assignments for the Holy See. So the Holy See is Holy See, also called the See of Rome, the Petrine See, or the Apostolic See, is the jurisdiction of the Pope in his role as the Bishop of Rome. So that's what the Holy See is.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle, as they say.
And that's C as in SEE, not anything else. And became friendly with Cardinal Giovanni Battista Montini, later Pope Paul VI. This dude, he has a survival instinct. That's all I'm going to say about Marcinkus. He is a proper lad.
Yeah, he seems to have his wits about him.
Yeah, he would have made a great mafioso, but some would say maybe he is.
Unfounded allegations there.
Yeah, allegedly. Upon earning his degree in 1953, he completed a 2-year program for prospective diplomats at the Pontifical Ecclesiastical Academy, and he was assigned to Bolivia in 1955. Fucking hell!
Is that where he was awarded his Golden Cleric Award?
I don't know. His golden fucking sniffy straw. Like, imagine sending a man like that to Bolivia. He must have been he must have been off his fucking tree, mustn't he?
Mm.
And to Canada 4 years later. Oh, Canada! Serving as secretary. Serving as secretary in the nunnicature. What the fuck is a nunciature? Nunciature.
Nuncio, a chair.
Is that where you go to learn to be a nut? No, nuncio.
No, it's
Is it what, like a seminary, but without the semen part? So you know what a seminary means, right?
What?
Like when you say someone's seminal work, it's semen.
Yeah,
it's the generative aspect.
Beginning December.
So all these priests learn to become priests at a seminary.
Ooh, seminary.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. So I'm just saying, what's the nun equivalent of that? The squirtinary? The urinary.
The egginary.
They go to the urinary.
Is it the egginary?
The veganary.
The veganuary.
I hate veganuary.
Veganuary is rubbish.
Bloody vegans.
Remember to always eat double steak during veganuary.
Well, for every animal they don't eat, you should eat 3.
Right, so... beginning December 1959, he worked at the Secretariat of State in Rome and served on occasion as interpreter for Pope John the 23rd and as an English translator for Pope Paul VI. Under Paul VI, he helped manage arrangements for papal trips overseas. His height and muscular build served him as well as an informal bodyguard for Paul VI. Oh shit, yes. Do you remember when someone tried to stab the Pope and he fucking karate chopped the geezer?
No.
It was like a real life version of Reacher. I'm not sure if
like
the audience.
Just like Reacher if he was a crooked bishop.
What was he seen eating Clark bars?
Yeah, Clark bars. They're his favourite.
What is a Clark bar?
What? It's
what is a...
Does anybody want to know what a Clark bar is?
I just asked.
I thought it was a joke because he was in Smallville. He played Aquaman in Smallville.
I don't know about this.
Yeah. It's oh god, crispy peanut butter spun taffy core, originally with a caramel centre and coated in milk chocolate.
So it's sweet peanut butter covered in chocolate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that like
it's like a Butterfinger, I think. Nobody.
I was going to say,
Butterfinger.
Isn't that like a smooth Snickers? No, it's like a peanut butter Kit Kat.
Peanut butter spun taffy. So it's. It looks like a big fudge bar, to be honest.
You just got fudged.
Nobody butter touched my Butterfinger. Do you remember that from South Park? Family Guy?
No. Sorry.
The original formula of the Clark bar was pioneered by an Irish immigrant, David L. Clark.
Ah, Mr. Clark. That's my name. Clark. Don't wear it.
You'll be inventing the Clark bar now, will you?
Well, you'll be naming out after yourself. That's very inventive of you, Mr. Clark.
Oh, I see you're a chocolate bar making out, Mr. Clark.
What got you into that sort of thing?
So okay then. So his height and muscular build served him well as an informal bodyguard for Pope Paul VI, earning him the nickname the Gorilla. On the 6th of January 1969, he received his episcopal consecration as the titular Archbishop of Horta. He Horta no better. Am I right?
Boom, boom.
In 1979, Marcinkus was reported as having been targeted by the Red Brigades, a far-left terrorist group for possible kidnap or assassination, after his address and other documents were found in the apartment of two group members, Valerio Morucci and Adriana Ferranda. In 1981, Pope John Paul II promoted Marcinkus to Archbishop and made him Vice President of the Governorate of the Vatican City-State, in effect its governor. In 1982, he allegedly thwarted an assassination attempt against Pope John Paul II in Fatima, Portugal, when Juan Maria Fernandes y Cron, that's his name, a reportedly disturbed priest attacked the Pope with a bayonet. In fact, several Portuguese police officers grabbed and disarmed the attacker, preventing the Pope from being stabbed. But I think there's kind of a rumour that he karate chopped the geezer.
Right.
Judo chop.
Judo chop. So here's the fun times. Vatican Bank tenure, which is the fun time. Pope Paul VI appointed Marcinkus Secretary of the Vatican Bank in 1968. He was named its president in 1971 at the age of 48, serving that role until 1989. Although an able administrator, Marcinkus had no prior experience as a banker. Upon his initial appointment to the Vatican Bank, he underwent brief training and short of days to weeks observational periods at several financial institutions. As early as April 24th, 1973, Marcinkus was questioned in his Vatican office by United States federal prosecutor William Aronwald and Bill Lynch, head of the Organised Crime and Racketeering section of the United States Department of Justice, about his involvement in the delivery of £14.5 million worth of counterfeit bonds to the Vatican in July 1971. This dude is a proper lad, isn't he?
He certainly seems to get about a bit.
He's a colourful character, isn't he? That's what you call him, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't get those anymore for some reason.
No, everyone's boring. Like if Rishi Sunak did a bit of this kind of stuff, you'd have a bit more respect for him, wouldn't you?
At least then you'd be like, oh, he's a bit of a rogue.
Yeah, like or if you had like one of the Tories like karate chopping someone who got up on stage or something.
What, like John Prescott used to do?
Yeah, 2 jabs.
2 jabs, yeah.
Do you remember it used to be 2 jags, and then they got called 2 jags after he punched that bloke for throwing an egg at him?
Well, I think he earned the title, didn't he?
Yeah, he was pretty good. He did the first one, then followed up quite nicely, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show he wasn't a pushover.
So his delivery of $14.5 million was part of a total request of $950 million, stated in a letter, $950 million, real money, stated in a letter on a Vatican letterhead. His name had arisen, and the letter came to light during the investigation of an international gangster who eventually served 12 years in prison. Marcinkus said he considered the charges against him serious, but not based enough on fact that he would violate the Vatican Bank's confidentiality to defend himself. Back in the States.
Based.
I like the way he goes, yeah, I'm not actually giving you any evidence and you can't fucking take it, so bollocks to you, I think basically was the conversation, I can imagine.
Yep.
It was agreed on the highest levels that the case against Marcinkus could not be pursued any further. In July 1982, Marcinkus was implicated in financial scandals being reported on the front pages of newspapers and magazines throughout Europe, particularly the collapse of Banco Ambrosiano, the head of which we will get to probably next week now, because we've only got a half hour left.
Because I was going to say, this is the bit where, where what I mentioned with the money laundering, there was a bit of back and forth between the Vatican Bank and the Banco Ambrosiano. So
I like it when Calvi pulls in Marcinkus and he goes, "Yeah, that money you owe me, can I have it?" Marcinkus goes, "Best I can do is you sign this thing where I'll tell you to go fuck yourself." He's a
classic.
Lad. He's just a fucking lad, Marcinkus is.
Yep.
In which propaganda duo, a Masonic lodge was involved. No slander on the Masonic lodge this time.
Oh, this time not an alleged.
Yeah. Or what were they? Counterfeit? Was it dodgy Masonic lodge? What was it they said in the other one?
Wishy-washy, dodgy-wodgy, plishy-ploshy. Definitely not, anything to do with us, Gov.
So Marcinkus had been a director of Ambrosiano overseas. So when they did Banco Ambrosiano, they split it off. They did an overseas division, which was based in Nassau in the Bahamas, which is where you do if you want to do above board banking, isn't it? It's the best place to do above board banking, isn't it?
Well, everyone knows that the Bahamas is a byword for honest banking.
I mean, that's what you want. You want your Bahamian bureaucracy, don't you?
I believe Santander is in the Bahamas.
And had been involved with Ambrosiano's chairman, financier Roberto Calvi, for a number of years. He was also involved in Michele Sindona, who had links with the mafia. Ooh. And
the mafia?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
The mafia.
Not Marcinkus, the gorilla. He's as straight as an arrow. The scandal widened after the body of Calvi, whose Banco Ambrosiano had dealt with Marcinkus, was found hanging under London's Blackfriars Bridge in June 1982. Marcinkus himself was never charged with a crime because he's a good boy and he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, simple as.
He stepped aside as head of the Vatican Bank soon after, with a board of laymen assuming control of the bank. So laymen are just people that aren't priests, aren't they, Hobbit?
Yeah, that's right. They're not like they haven't been to seminary.
No, they haven't had seminary over their face, neck, and chest.
They haven't had seminary education.
Yeah. The Vatican eventually paid 145 million in 445 million quid in a settlement with creditors. Marcinkus observing in 1986 that you can't run the church on Hail Marys. Marcinkus later said he was misquoted, and what he actually said was, "When my workers come to retire, they expect a pension. It's no use my saying to them, I'll pay you 400 Hail Marys." He resigned.
I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday for a bank on Monday.
He resigned his Vatican position on October the 30th, 1990, because he's a good boy and he didn't do nothing. And he led a long and fruitful and legal career as the head of the bank.
He was just getting his life on track. He was going to go to seminary school.
Do you want to hear some absolutely unsubstantiated allegations against the gorilla?
Boy, do I.
Yeah. In 1984, Marcinkus was named by David Yallop. That's a real name, apparently.
It's not really. It's one of those American names.
No, it's one of them British names, actually.
What? No, that's not a real name. I don't believe you.
David Anthony Yallop. I'm gonna have to do a sidebar on this one. He contributed scripts for a number of BBC comedy shows, including Minder. In the same decade, he also wrote 10 episodes for ITV court drama Crown Court.
Okay.
In late 1989, he lost his job when, as a scriptwriter for EastEnders, he proposed killing some of the characters by means of an IRA bomb.
What's wrong with that? I mean, that would have livened things up. We would have got rid of Ian Beale finally. Did you know the guy who plays Phil Mitchell is still in EastEnders?
Yeah, I watched some recently, and
I was subjected to it over Christmas.
Sharon's still in it as well, isn't she?
Fucking hell! I look at some of them, and I just thought to myself that's a life sentence they've got.
Yallop,
I mean,
One reason we should like Yallop is he successfully sued the BBC for breach of contract when they binned him.
Oh, Dom Alfkicker's saying, when you're going to address that Alex Jones is back. Yeah, Alex Jones is back on Twitter, and you can watch Blair White feel up his willy. He doesn't stick his hands in Alex Jones's pants, but he does sit on his lap and feels up through the jeans. And Alex Jones looks at his tits. It's confusing. Yeah. And then, like, when saying, "Hey, are those real?" And then he is going, "Tee-hee, they're real big." It's like, that's good enough for me. Give me them globalists. I need to squeeze them now.
So anyway, Marcinkus was named by David...
We're crushing the globalists! We're crushing them! Not so hard, Alex. There we go. We've addressed Alex Jones.
Marcinkus was named by David Yallop as a possible accomplice for the claimed murder of Pope John Paul I. There's a lot of John Pauls about, aren't there? Yallop made allegations regarding a number of suspects involving the mafia and Freemasonry. For instance, Anthony Raimondi, who purports to be a nephew of Lucky Luciano, claimed in 2019 that he helped his alleged cousin Marcinkus murder the Pope. Loris Serafini, director of a museum in Canale d'Agordo, overseeing a collection covering John Paul I's life, refers to the purported murder as an unshakable myth. And Chico Harlan and Stefano Petrelli, writing for the Washington Post, report that one papal doctor believed that heart attack was the likeliest cause of death. Another doctor who previously treated the Pope said there was no clinical doubt that the cause was circulatory. In her official work as postulator, that's ace. Can I have a? That'd be a great job, wouldn't it, Hobbit? Postulating.
I may have done a bit of postulating in my time.
Yeah, imagine that, getting paid. She was an official postulator. Her official work was a postulator. Stefania Falasca, a journalist for the Italian for the Italian newspaper Avvenire, and the lead investigator for the Vatican regarding the late Pope's canonisation, quotes the conflicting medical opinions and does not try to weigh which was likelier. Well, thanks for that. That was useless. What was that? What was that sentence even for?
Are we enlightened by this now?
No, we're not.
Oh, never mind, eh?
We might talk about this at some point as well. As of 2008, a case of a missing person has been reopened after claims that Emanuela Orlandi, daughter of a Vatican employee, had been kidnapped and later killed on orders of Marcinkus were made by Sabrina Minardi, a former girlfriend of Enrico De Pedis. De Pedis File, is that his name? Boss of the gang Banda della Magliana. Members of the Orlandi families said they were sceptical of the claim, as Minardi had been treated for drug abuse. Investigators remained cautious, but were reportedly impressed by the accuracy of some details, as reported by La Repubblica. Marcinkus was played by Atka Rutger Hauer in the Italian film The Bankers of God.
All right.
I know you like a bit of Rutger Hauer, don't you?
Yeah, he's all right. He is. Him and Paul Verhoeven. Well, they're both shitbags in their own way, but they're lovable shitbags. Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. You were good whilst you were doing your thing.
Have you seen Godfather Part 3? I never bothered with it.
Nah, didn't seem like... I to be honest, I got bored with the first Godfather film.
Oh, yeah, we said about this. Well, apparently Godfather 3 is about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Amalia. We'll just sidebar on Amalia Orlandi, and that'll probably do us for tonight.
Yeah.
She was a Vatican teenager who mysteriously disappeared while returning home from music school in Rome on the 22nd of June 1983. Is that 2206? Is that some sort of number, you think?
I mean, it's a number.
I don't know. I'm not very good at numerology. I haven't really looked into it.
Oh, sorry, it's not a good thing of mine.
The case received worldwide attention from its very beginning due to the public appeal of Pope John Paul II for a release after an unnamed terrorist organisation claimed to be holding the girl in exchange for the liberation of Mehmet Ali Agca, a Turkish terrorist who 2 years before attempted to assassinate the Pope. However, the subsequent investigation discovered the allegation of international terrorism was a misdirection, and the real motive of the disappearance remains unknown. Over the course of decades, the case has created much speculation about the involvement of international terrorism, organised crime, role of a possible serial killer, and a plot inside the Holy See to cover up a sex scandal involving ecclesiastical figures. I think we might be looking at. I think the gorilla might be involved. I think they're pointing fingers at the gorilla in that, aren't
they? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Did you know we're going up against Alex Jones live now? Well, he's not Fortean.
Yeah, he's no.
It's a shame though, because if he was to be Fortean, the times when he has talked about woo-woo stuff, it's been quite entertaining.
Yeah, I really hated the move from woo-woo to politics.
Or geopolitics, as he called it.
Geopolitics.
Oh, he'd have various CIA think tank people on, and they'd be talking about geopolitics, as they call it. And I looked up, it's like, yeah, so you know geography, and you know politics. What if geography and politics were linked together? And it's like, oh yeah, that's what my PhD degree is in plopitics.
Isn't geo the geography part?
Yeah.
Why is it called plopitics then? Because it should be geopolitics.
Just politics is plopitics. Ploppy plop. I do the job.
So Orlandi's family, in particular, with her brother Pietro, consistently pressed the Vatican for the release of information about the case, believing the Holy See knew more than it admitted. The Vatican always maintained strict silence about the matter, denying any accusation of involvement. But over the years, many voices from inside the Holy See suggested that someone actually knew what happened to the missing girl. So she normally travelled by bus to school. She'd get off after a few stops and walk the last few hundred metres. Upon leaving home around 4 p.m. on the 22nd of June 1983, Orlandi was late to class and the weather was extremely hot. She asked Pietro to drive her, but he had other commitments. I've got over it so many times, telling myself if only I'd accompanied her, maybe it wouldn't have happened, he recalled decades later. At the end of class, Orlandi phoned home and explained to her sister Federica that before the lesson she had received a job offer from a representative of Avon products. Does that mean the gorilla sells Avon?
You need the new gorilla stuff from Avon.
Don't you remember the your dad sells Avon gag? I bet you don't remember that.
Oh, right. I just thought it's Avon calling, so it's
yeah. To hand out flyers at a fashion show for 2 hours, and Addy, she meet him again at. I mean, that's obviously a fucking. It's a flimsy thing so he could rape her. It's fucking obvious, isn't it?
Not
because young girls are
rape
literally stupid, aren't they?
To be fair, adult women aren't much smarter. Sorry, women, you just aren't that bright.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like all you got to do is literally, if you want to do anything. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, they do fall for some of the dumbest of shit, don't they?
Well,
it was like, hey girl, you should be a model. I'll take some pictures of you at my grotty flat.
I'll turn you into a star.
Yeah. All you got to do is just take your blouse off. Just take your skirt off. Ficus. Yeah. It's just like, this is the kind of shit that women fall for, isn't it? Federica told her not to accept the offer, believing the conversation to be excessive and thus unreliable. Suggested discussing the matter with their parents first. So at least one woman's got half a brain. While leaving school, Orlandi spoke of the job offer with two female classmates, and then left her at a bus stop, probably doing the spinning a finger around a temple nutter, fucking retard. And that's probably what they did, didn't they?
Yeah, brain.
She was last seen around 7:30 p.m. At the bus stop in the company of another girl who was never identified. Shocker. Absolute shocker. She turned up missing after that.
Just never know why.
Well, just how did it happen?
It's mystery.
So in the first days after the experience, Giulio Ganghi, a young agent of the SISD and a friend of the Orlandis, supported the family in the initial investigations. Ganghi questioned the two police officers who were on duty in front of the Senate on the evening of the disappearance. Both confirmed they saw a girl that would fit a description talking to a man who was holding an Avon cosmetic bag. At least he took props. Although they disagreed on.
Alright, it's Avon calling.
Your Darcel's Avon. One of them placed this event before the music lesson, while the other thought it was around 7 p.m. by the time the classes ended. According to police, the man was driving a dark green BMW. Ganghi managed to track down the car, which was being repaired by a mechanic, as one of its windows had been broken from the inside. Ganghi discovered that the car belonged to a woman, but before he could dig deeper, he was removed from the investigation by his superiors. So, to be fair, it is making itself. They are trying to make it look suspicious now, aren't they? By taking as soon as the guy finds the car, they take him off the case. At 6 p.m. on Saturday, 25th of June, a phone call was received from a youth who claimed to be a 16-year-old boy named Pierre Luigi. He reported that he and his fiancée had met a girl that could fit the description of Orlandi in the Campo de Fiori. The young man mentioned her flute, long hair.
Camp.
Is that a euphemism?
Flute.
I saw her flute, mate.
Yeah, she was one of those high-fluting.
She had a cracking flute,
ones.
mate. Long hair and a pair of glasses that she did not like to wear, along with other details that fit the description of the missing girl. According to Pierre Luigi, the girl had just had a haircut and introduced herself as Barbarella, stating she'd run away from home and was selling Avon products. All these elements that could fit the description of Manuela, and the fact he mentioned Avon products, a point that was not yet public knowledge, led people to think the girl could actually have been Emanuela. So he actually did sell Avon then. I thought it was just a ruse.
So a way to get a foot in the door.
Have we got to worry about Big Avon snatching girls up off the street and making them sell Avon?
They don't want you to know this, but the women you meet in Avon are free. I have 537 of them.
On the same day, agents of the Italian Secret Service visited Orlandi's house and made an inspection, after which they suggested that the Orlandi family should start recording all phone calls. On the 28th of June, a man calling himself Mario. Did he say, "It's a me, Mario," when he rang up?
If you do that now, I think the Yakuza will come and seppuku you. But apparently, Nintendo take a very dim view on people saying, "It's a me." So when is Nintendo going to declare war on Italy for all the people they're called Mario?
It's just going to be a mass die-off for people called Mario. Mario phoned the family and he claimed,
"Oh my god, this could be a great... Right, you could have like a film as ninjas versus mafia."
Ninjas versus ninjas versus plumbers.
The mafia are there like killing Yakuza agents, and the Yakuza are there like trying to kill people called Mario because Nintendo are paying them like a million yen.
Mario.
It's a million yen for every like Mario killed versus a million lira for every Yakuza killed.
1 million lira. What's worth less, lira or
Lira.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we went over this, didn't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, he rang up. He said, "It's a me, Mario," and they said, "What's that fucking racket in the background? You bing bing wahooing all over the place." Phone the
Mouth Kick says, "I'd be more likely to accidentally fuck Blair White than Lee Thomas, though." Who's Lee Thomas?
Leah Thomas is the swimmer.
Wesley, I have seen EastEnders, and I can tell you there's not many brand people in it, which doesn't really reflect the demographic change of Watford.
I was going to say there was one less at Christmas, but no, they didn't murder him, did they? They thought they had.
There was a wedding, and it was very depressing. God, I hate EastEnders.
Leah Thomas could do a better job of getting me to a lifeboat sans available other male Olympic swimmers. That's just disgusting. Anyway, he said he phoned up.
That's why I was asking who's Lee Thomas.
And then he claimed to own a bar near Ponte Vittorio between the Vatican and the music school. He reported that he knew a boy and 2 other girls who in those days were selling Avon products. One of them was a young girl. It just seems to me just like they're trying to smear Avon.
Hemi, I thought we were going to... I was just going to say, we got 10 minutes to go, and we got all these unexplained mysteries to do.
Oh, okay then.
Because we're going to do a part 3, aren't we?
So
I was going to say...
It's a mystery. They don't know what happened to her. But, I don't know. She might have fell through a warp pipe or something. With Mario.
Do. I was trying to do the warp tunnel music.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah.
You know, warp tunnel.
But anyway, that's kind of related to because they think Marcinkus might have been involved. You can do unexplained mysteries tonight. I bet it's all you.
Yeah. So the first unexplained mystery, which is now an explained mystery.
What happened to those tunnels under New York?
There's no mattresses in the rape tunnels. They're not rape tunnels. It's just dirt, and there's definitely no baby high chairs there in the rape tunnels. They're not even rape tunnels. Stop calling them rape tunnels. Yeah. So, rubs fingers, no, rubs hands. That's the end of that mystery. I'm glad we solved that. There we go. We've got an explained mystery for a change on unexplained mysteries. So, and by the way, you may have thought you saw mattresses. Actually, that's just wall insulation. So you didn't see mattresses.
Yeah. I just want to read the headline, but real life 10-foot prehistoric King Kong. King Kong was a bit taller than 10 foot. So it's not a real. It's more like a real life Mighty Joe Young, isn't it? Because he was about 10 foot, wasn't he?
So real life slightly big ape.
Yeah.
That's 10 foot tall.
Yeah. Fucking scientists. Go on then, I'll bet.
Why are they so shit?
Go on then, I'll bet. What you'd lead him with?
Oh, I was leading with the rape tunnels are definitely not rape tunnels.
Yeah.
More news at 10. Do we want to do the floating jellyfish scene on camera?
What's that? Are you on the news? Are you on the news page?
No, this is stuff I saw in other things, and I'm waiting for it to be on Unexplained Mysteries. But it seems like Unexplained Mysteries aren't interested in UFOs and extraterrestrials seen on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Mysterious jellyfish UFO. I'll post a link so you can read along with me. Here we go. A mysterious jellyfish UFO filmed floating over US military base. Now, someone says, oh, it's just a bogey on the camera. Yeah, except when you see the cameras moving and the bogey's still moving. So, like,
it could be sliding down the camera lens. Could be a real wet.
No,
bogey.
I've seen the video. It's not, and a lot of people are saying it looks like a cacodemon. So, you familiar? So I'll bring it up for you. It's from Doom. Cacodemon.
Is it a bit like an Eureka demon?
Oh, the cacodemon is also in Wikipedia. A cacodemon is an evil spirit in the modern sense of the word, a demon. The opposite of a cacodemon is an agaphodemon or a eudemon. Oh, so literally it just means it's an evil spirit, which is a demon. But anyway, I want to see it in Doom.
That's more like a robot.
In the Doom, come on, just show me the Doom one.
That one, that's the cacodemon.
Right, here we go. Right, let me. Oh, Jesus, Louise! No, let's just copy the image because that's a long link. But there you go. That's what it looks like. That's the cacodemon from Doom.
Is News Nation a real program? I don't think. I just get the feeling it's like a spoof program or something.
It's probably just one of those. I mean, it looks like high production value. Because, like, you know, when you try and zoom in on something and then you're trying to pan at the same time, it's not easy. Your field of view gets shrunk as you zoom in more and more.
No, but they speed up when it's to the right of the screen.
So I'm going to read more of it. Over the object
jellyfish.
Well, they say it looks like a jellyfish because it's got the trailing tentacle bits. But I'm saying it looks like a cacodemon.
It just reminds me of one of those, you know, those things on Twitter when they go, "Oh, is this a dog or an elephant?" And they're like, "No, it's a fucking cat."
The object, which was only visible using thermal imaging cameras, seemed to have appendages dangling from its underside. Over the last few years, we've been hearing an increasing number of accounts from US military personnel of unidentified objects, or wet-ass pussies, as we're not allowed to call them UFOs anymore, encountered both in the United States and abroad. In the latest video, which comes courtesy of UFO researcher Jerry... Oh, so you're not calling it wet-ass pussy researcher then? So you're still using that term? Just give up calling it wet-ass pussy.
You have to call it in a UAP, but they're UFO researchers.
Yeah, so Jeremy Corbell, who researches UFOs and is not interested in wet-ass pussy, shows what has been described as a jellyfish UFO that's filmed over a US military base using thermal imaging. "It goes over a body of water," said Corbell. "I'm told it stops on a dime, descends stiff into the water, and for 70 minutes nothing. How do you descend stiff into the... Do Americans, they're giving up on English, aren't they? They're just reverting to pig grunting. And for 70 minutes nothing, and boom. Oh, you're starting a sentence with "and boom." That's a good sentence. "This thing comes out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees. 45 degrees from what? What is it going 45 degrees from? Fucking hell.
He's good, isn't he, this Jeremy Corbyn?
Jeremy Corbell, you are a moron.
Jeremy Corbyn, more like.
He is an above-average American, this Jeremy Corbell. Corbell, who is a special needs investigative journalist and filmmaker, maintained that the footage was likely to be authentic due to the risk taken by his sources in getting it to him. He also claimed that in 2018, troops were instructed to hunt down the object. Since the video emerged, a former intelligence analyst with the United States Marine Corps, Michael Kunkowski, not the former Pope, has also come forward to claim US troops have been hounded by the object in Iraq for years. "It kind of just ended up being like the ghost story of the base," he told News Nation. "It didn't seem to be posturing to threaten us at all. Some of the Marines were tasked to try and find out it on night vision. They were looking for it with other sensors and everything else we had." He's in United States Marine Corps intelligence, you see.
Yeah.
You can check out the footage as part of the News Nation report below, and there's a video of... Well, you can look at it. It's up to you whether you want to or not. But more important than that, right? A very important story. Anonymous witness of Shag Harbour UFO shares deathbed confession.
Ooh.
I just wanted to read it because it's got Shag Harbour in the title. I'm not interested in the story itself.
Does the man live at Bell End?
Well, yeah, and his name's John Doe. The witness, only known as John Doe, is one of several to see a strange object over Canada more than 50 years ago. I don't care. I really don't care. Like, you're waiting all this time to say it. Fuck you. I don't care.
Do you want a QI type story? You know how fingerprints are unique, where they're not.
Oh.
That's it.
The Columbine fan. Okay. The Columbine duo were doing
found it. So, like, they've just farmed it out to AI. They haven't checked it out. They've just farmed it out to AI, and AI is right about everything.
Oh. Here's another article. 1,000-year-old Viking sword discovered on riverbed, stolen by Polish scumbags.
Yeah.
So it's found in the riverbed in Poland.
Man falls down 130-foot shaft he dug under his house to look for gold.
Definitely not rape tunnel.
Da-da-da-da.
Because this is in Latin America.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not in Brooklyn.
What's if it's in Latin America, is there not Greek America?
No, because the Greeks became irrelevant around about the time of the fall of the Byzantine Empire. And you see, the Greeks were once good, but then they got raped by Ottomans and then became just... They're basically Christian Turks at this point. It's sad.
Peregrine landers bid to land on the moon, scuppered by fuel leak. Ba-da-ba-da. I mean,
I'm sorry, I just...
Proposed UAP bill would allow civilian pilots to report UFO sightings. What, is it currently illegal for them to report UFO sightings? What a stupid question.
It's weird, isn't it?
Hmm.
Oh, here we go. This is an interesting thing. So NASA's got a experimental aircraft called X-59, not to be confused with the space plane. The is it the 51B, which is it's an unmanned space plane, and it's got the world record for the longest object unmanned flight in space. No, it's got the record for the longest unmanned flight of anything. But no one talks about the X-51B, I think it's called. But anyway, the X-59, which has got nothing to do with the X-59, 51B, is a supersonic aircraft, and it's quiet. Named the X-59 Low Boom Flight Demonstration Aircraft, the plane was revealed at an event at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works facilities.
They called it Son of Concorde for some reason, didn't they?
Yeah. In Palmed Up, that could be the journalist, mind you, Friday. Measuring 100 foot long, capable of speeds of around 1,000 miles per hour, and costing a lot of money. The X-59, I mean, how much is $250 million in lira? The X-59 has been, it's been designed to reduce the typically deafening sonic boom to a mere sonic thud. It accomplishes this thanks to its unique shape, which helps break up the sound waves typically produced when an aircraft exceeds the speed of sound. Around 1/3 of the plane's entire body is composed of a long, slender nose, while its windscreen has been replaced with a series of cameras, enabling the pilot to see both in front and below. So they won't have to do the dipped wing thing of it. The reason Concorde and other supersonic aircraft need a dipped nose is... when the pilots come in order to reduce the speeds, they have to pitch the plane up. But the faster you come in to land, the more you have to pitch the plane up. So in the case of Concorde, you're having to do it almost like a 45-degree angle, and at which point you can't see the runway. So that's why they had the hydraulic actuators, which made them the nose go down. And in this case, they'd just be like, well, we'll just use cameras because the cameras are reliable enough now that you can do that. Which in some ways should simplify a lot of stuff. So we said the thing, powered by a General Electric jet engine. I mean, are you really interested in what the numbers of this jet engine are?
No.
You're going to go to Jet Engines R Us and buy yourself this model. The X-59 will undergo test flights for the next couple of years above 5 population centres to gauge the public's reaction to its dampened booms. The International Civil Aviation Organization's Committee on Aviation Environmental Protection, which is shortened to CAEP, C-A-E-P, will ultimately use this data to produce... Oh, sorry, let's do it in Australian. Data to produce new noise regulations for supersonic flights. How is data, which is like... I always think it's like a relatively modern word, although I know it dates back to Latin stuff. How is it that the Australians insist on pronouncing it wrong? When even the Americans... The word data.
Oh, data.
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 Yeah, the Americans listen, it's like, well, you're talking about your girls. No, you're talking about the data. Even Americans can pronounce it.
The thing is about the Australians, you got to remember that for a very, very long time they were like, that village that people don't go to very often. So they've kind of like been allowed to do whatever they want, and they've gone a little bit strange, I think.
Well, I'm told that it's the Shaftesbury accent, but I don't know anybody in Shaftesbury that talks like that.
No.
And anyway, why would that become I mean, most of the people that came to Australia were from London, so...
Well, it's like a rubbish Cockney accent, isn't it? The Australian accent.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like any Dorset accent I've heard, but... So anyway, we got on the jet engine, dampened booms, C8 will ultimately use...
shadow alien rumours on the next page?
We'll almost finished this one. Produced new noise regulation supersonic flights. This is a major accomplishment made possible only through the hard work and ingenuity from NASA and the entire X-59 team, said NASA Deputy Administrator Pat Melroy. In just a few short years, we've gone from an ambitious concept to reality. NASA's X-59 will help change the way we travel, bring us closer together in much less time. All right. I mean, what will Greta Thunberg say about that? Because surely, like, if it's going supersonic, it's going to be, like, really gas guzzling. And they hate that, don't they? Where are you going to put the solar panels on it?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know about those aliens, mate. Possible.
10-foot tall aliens.
Yeah, the video looks pretty interesting.
Well, yeah. Scientists have conversation whale in world first experiment. Fraser, yeah. you're our marine relations correspondent. Do you want to read this article?
Marine relations, okay.
Yeah,
Where's my official title now? All right, where is it? Send it to me.
Yeah, there you go. Put it in general.
Yeah. Marine relationships.
Oh no!
Oh
Chris Carter reveals that Disney's working on an X-Files reboot.
Oh fucking hell!
Reimagined for modern
Scully's
audiences.
Gonna be a tranny.
Yeah,
in a wheelchair.
What?
Right. Okay.
Are they both going to go around debunking stuff? Is that what the X-Files? I'm debunking. Snopes will be a
Mulder's gonna be Mulder's gonna be black. Scully's gonna be transsexual, and like I don't know, like fucking what's the bald guy? The FBI. He's gonna be a woman.
Have they asked the whales what they think of this?
Mitch Pileggi's going to be like a strong black woman, isn't he?
Yeah, or an Asian woman or something.
The cigarette smoking man is going to be a vegan. He's going to be a vegan that don't smoke.
Oh, Deep Throat's going to be a disabled lesbian.
They're going to be uncovering far right conspiracies every week.
Oh, it's going to be the spectrum of diversity.
The X-37B space plane blasts off on another mystery mission. I bet.
Right, do you want me to read the whale? The whales are talking.
What do they think about the X-Files reboot?
Right. Okay, so scientists have conversation with a whale in world first experiment. The remarkable feat could help pave the way towards communicating with aliens in the event of first contact.
Oh my god, they've literally watched Star Trek 4, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh man. The breakthrough, which marks the first time anyone has succeeded in having a conversation with a whale in the animal's own language, as achieved by a team of researchers composed of the experts from UC Davis, the Alaska Whale Foundation, and SETI, the Search for Intelligence. How do you miss it? Wait.
I was reliably informed by Jim Mars that it's silly excuse to investigate is what SETI stands for.
How do you measure a success with a whale in a conversation? How are they measuring this success? This is going to be very interesting.
Second date, is that?
It didn't eat them. Is that what it was?
Maybe they're going like the normal sort of thing when you say to strangers is lovely weather we got today, and they're like, oh yes, lovely, and then you carry on. But what if they sort of like stop to say, what do you mean weather? We're aquatic animals. It's always wet here.
Yes, it's less turbulent today. Right, so for some reason, alien hunters have long had an interest in deciphering whale communication, because it's perhaps the closest we can get to learning how to understand and speak to intelligent extraterrestrials. To initiate contact, the team used underwater speakers to play a contact call similar to a human greeting from a boat in Alaska. Before long, a humpback whale nicknamed Twain had arrived on the scene. Over the course of 20 minutes, the team repeatedly played back the contact call at various intervals, and Twain would respond with a reciprocal call that closely matched the timing of the intervals. We believe
this is where we find out that they didn't actually have a conversation with the whale, and they were just playing.
No, they just played it music. Yeah, that was it, and it splashed at them or something. We believe this is the first communicative exchange between humans and humpback whales in the humpback language.
I miss the days when we taught sign language to gorillas. That was much better.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, Coco the gorilla was capable of having conversations, and I think Elon Musk's, was it Terry Davis, was it Chris Langham? One of them said, "Why is it that Coco the gorilla is not a US citizen when it's more intelligent than a lot of American citizens?" And it is. Mm. Like, Coco Gorilla had opinions on various things.
So, yeah, our first contact with aliens is going to be a right fucking bloodbath. You know that, right? Let's just say that.
Well, the aliens aren't extraterrestrial.
Well,
they're interdimensional demons.
Yeah, so some interdimensional demons are going to turn up, and we're just going to stand there with a speaker singing whale song at them, and they're just going to be...
Oh, by the way, it was explained to me the other, because I said I believe in demons, but I don't know anything about angels. And the other person said that, well, you see, demons, they like to fuck with us because they want to get us away from God. Whereas the angels have to respect our free will and therefore can't interfere.
Right. And the point was?
That's why you don't see angels, but you do see demons.
I don't know. Surely at some point they got to fucking step in.
Well, one would hope so.
Wow. Because of current limitations... Okay, so not only was the experiment a major step forward in the effort to communicate with whales, it also helped scientists develop filters, supposedly, that could be applied to potential extraterrestrial signals. Because of current limitations on technology, an important assumption of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is that extraterrestrials will be interested in making contact. And so forget
human receivers.
Study co-ordinator Dr. Lawrence Doyle of the SETI Institute. The important
But
assumption.
Lawrence is written wrong. Lawrence.
This important assumption is certainly supported by the behaviour of humpback whales. Right, so you mimicked a whale speech, therefore.
And the whale said hi back.
Reciprocated. Yeah. But it made something that you couldn't understand what it was actually
I mean,
saying.
I was excited
Therefore,
and I thought they
aliens
got
would
like.
understand us.
I was hoping they had some sort of like whale Rosetta Stone where they're like, "Oh, we understand your word for fish, hello, and sex."
Yeah, exactly. So like,
sex now,
I'm hungry.
rape.
Yeah.
No, that's dolphins.
Oh yeah.
Dolphins are rape.
I'm going to eat your boat now. You know,
they're just playful.
They're rapey.
Well, yeah, but that's how they play.
They're the Russell Brand. They're the Russell Brand of aquatic animals.
Yeah, playful with your butthole.
They've just got a lot of love to share. Sometimes people don't want it, or pufferfish don't want it.
Pufferfish don't want it. Right, I'm knackered. Are we all done?
Or the sharks.
Yeah, I think so.
The sharks are trying to sleep, but the dolphins keep raping them.
Right, night everyone. Stay spooky.
Yep.
Whoa!
Don't let the Vatican priest bite.
Don't let the sharks get